So I've started the Disney Pixel RPG and it's actually pretty good. I'm getting a lot more enjoyment out of this title than I was originally anticipating. And it's one of those games that I've had my eye on for a minute. You're putting together a bunch of Disney characters into a crossover game and it features beautiful sprite work to go along with it. Sign me up. Funny enough, I had no idea this game even dropped up until I saw KH Waterblock playing it on Twitter. Shout out to them for putting me on. So I downloaded the game and I wanted to give my first impressions of it. For this video, I'm going to be mainly talking about my experiences going through the first world, which took me a little under 2 hours to get through with all the game's trials and tribulations. It's also important to mention that I'm not really a huge fan of playing games on my phone. At this time, Pokemon Go is really the only game that I'm able to be consistent with throughout the years. I usually play a mobile title for a little while, then I get bored and move on. But I actually think this game might be joining my library very soon. Even in the case of Kingdom Hearts Missing Link, I'll have to wait to get my hands on the game to know how it really fits. Even as much as a massive Kingdom Hearts fan I am, Union Cross was quickly disposed of from my phone. So for Disney's Pixel RPG, I went into it with a let's see what happens kind of attitude. And I was actually pleasantly surprised with how much I ended up enjoying myself. But before I get into it though, please be sure to hit that like button as it helps out the channel, and let me know in the comment section below what is your favorite non-Kingdom Hearts Disney game. There's so many options to choose from when going through Disney's massive catalog of video games. I know Epic Mickey and DuckTales is up there for a lot of people, and I think Disney's Pixel RPG will be up there for a lot of people in the future. In this game, you create your own player character and they're tasked with helping repair the game, as there are glitches running about tearing holes within each of the games inside, causing a variety of Disney characters from different games to come together. In the opening act, you're able to see a bunch of different Mickey Mouses, from a DJ Mickey to an Adventure Mickey, and there's so many more as the game progresses. It's very much a multiverse game that takes place within a single video game, and your player character is responsible for going around these various Disney games and eliminating the glitches to save the world. Already, this sounds like the plot for Kingdom Hearts Recoded, but made a lot simpler. I'm going to be making a lot of comparisons between this game and Kingdom Hearts because, duh. It's a Disney crossover game with your own original OC joining the mix. I wonder where I've seen that before. The first world you go to is based on a video game version of Sleeping Beauty, and here we get a new version of Aurora and Maleficent. Here, Aurora is actually taking the mantle of taking down Maleficent with this really sick sword of hers, and Maleficent is rocking this really sick staff design. The story itself is actually pretty endearing, as the glitches interfering with this world actually cause these two to work together, putting aside their squabbles to save their own universe. And that leads us right into the gameplay. The main meat and potatoes for this game is the turn-based combat, where you're able to choose between 5 different party members of Disney characters when forming a team. Since I was super early into the game, I just selected whatever I could get to get the ball rolling. When jumping into the world, you see that each level makes its way deeper into the map, and this is where the main combat of the game comes from. It's a turn-based game where you're able to choose between attacking, defending, and a special attack. Funny enough, at the beginning, I just decided to ignore all of this, because this game had a nice and pretty auto button right at the very beginning, playing these battles for you without needing to do a single thing. If a game is going to give me a mechanic to skip the battles, then I'm going to use it. But in this game, the battles are really where the game started to shine. It was only after a couple battles that I found that the auto battling stopped working for me, as I saw my team getting completely bodied only after one of the first few levels. So now it was time for me to lock in and actually play the game. And even when I was trying, I found myself getting completely bodied. It was at this moment that I had to sit up and actually problem solve for these fights. I was deep into the characters' bios, learning their abilities and their special moves. In the case of their special moves, each move costs a certain amount from this meter below, and this meter is refilled every time you're able to successfully pull off an attack. I really do like the special meter because it's consistently shifting throughout the fight, meaning you'll need to be on your toes on which abilities you want to use for each turn. After getting bodied and learning what my team could do, I was finally ready to start fighting back. My team consisted of Peter Pan, which had the ability to strike a single foe with a strong attack. Mickey Mouse had a move that was able to hit multiple enemies at once. Minnie was there as my designated healer, and Daisy and Stitch were working in the back setting up attack, defense, and critical hit buffs. Point is, I could no longer rely on the auto command to guide me through the game. I actually had to play the game and get good in order to continue. And let me tell you, problem solving a fight like this is incredibly satisfying. There's a very solid turn-based RPG in this game. Eventually though, I did hit a wall, and this is where the game's monetization practices started to arise. So in this game, you're able to roll in the gacha for other Disney characters. Obviously, the characters with the higher valuable borders are going to be the strongest. You use the game's crystals to roll for new characters, and crystals can either be earned by completing challenges or by spending money, which is fine. A free-to-play gotta do what it gotta do to make money. And since the game is new, they were a little bit more liberal with the crystals, and I was able to add some new characters. It's also important to mention that this is a stamina-based game, meaning every time that you step inside of a level, you use up a bit of your stamina meter, and you're not able to play anymore once your stamina wheel is up. It takes 3 minutes for you to recover 1 stamina, meaning you'll be waiting a while to build up more to play. This is a common thing in mobile titles that I've just never really been a fan of. Of course, you do have the option to use crystals to speed up this process, as in another way for the game to get money out of you, but you do have the alternative option of just waiting for the time to pass. And in the case of mobile games, it sounds like a chance to go play something else while the stamina builds. I did pour a lot of my crystals early on into the stamina meter so I could keep playing, because I was just enjoying the turn-based combat of this game so much, but I'm not sure how much I'd be willing to spend those crystals later on. It fully depends on how the game's economy will adapt as we progress. So you'll have the option of spending the money or waiting, ultimately your call. Then of course there's your own customizable hero, which you can spend money giving them special outfits from the shop. Excellent for those looking to dress up their own little guys. I did do a few pulls using the crystals that the game provided, and I was able to pull characters like Baymax. This is a gold character and immediately replaced Minnie on my team as the healer, considering his special attack is able to heal 50% of my party when compared to Minnie's just 25%. The best characters are just going to be locked behind the gacha mechanic, that's just how it goes, but I think the gameplay itself is so strong that I don't really mind putting the time into the game. When approaching the final boss of this world, I was getting completely bodied, but when changing my team's composition, being careful with every move I made, and being able to level them up through other missions, I was finally able to triumph over the boss. And this felt really good. It's a game that forces you to lock in and not be careless. A single mistake can throw off a round if you aren't careful. There's a really solid RPG under all of this, and I only just completed the first world, and as I'm writing this video, I already started playing a little bit of the second one. As I'm writing this, I'm actually itching to get back into the game, because it was one that was testing my brain, and I think that's really cool for a Disney Pixel RPG. The game also has a hub world of sorts, and here you're able to see all the different characters you've unlocked. You can even speak with them and earn some extra levels based on the communication you have. But I think at this point in the story, there isn't much for me to do here. I'm sure these buildings will open up as I progress. The game is also a treat on the eyes. I've always been a big fan of pixel art styles in games, and this one adapts so many different styles. Even certain characters will have more bits than others to show that they're from different games. It's a small touch that gives the art style so much variety. And I'm not gonna lie, I've definitely considered throwing some money into the game already, mainly because I wanted to build up a party with all gold characters and work around them. And I'm worried about dumping my level up resources into characters that I'm no longer gonna use. So to be honest, if I continue to play this game as I anticipate, I think they're gonna shake me for a few dollars. The time cooldown mechanic also works for me in this instance because this is the kind of game that can be picked up and play for a few and then put right back down. You can take down a few levels, burn through all of your stamina, and literally just go about your day. This is definitely going to be one of those slow burn games, and I think it helps with my current mobile library. Like I said, I mainly play Pokemon Go, and that will continue to be my main game. So to have something to play on the side every now and then that keeps me engaged, I'm here for it. Treat it like Candy Crush, do a few levels, and just go about your day and you'll be Gucci. It's different enough of a game to scratch a different part of my brain. And it's a Disney RPG. I'm obviously so thirsty for a different Disney RPG, something's gotta hold me over until we get that. And I do think this is perfect for that. I do really enjoy how these seem to be unique versions of these Disney characters. Like I said, seeing Sleeping Beauty actually threaten to strike down Maleficent where she stands is pretty sick. And I'm excited to see what other Disney crossover content they have for the story. Or rather, this game's take on these classic Disney characters. I'm telling you, seeing DJ Mickey actually appear in a game, like that's such a deep cut, and I'm excited to see what other versions of Mickey decide to show up. Of course, I can't talk about a Disney crossover game without mentioning the King. This is the easiest please put Sora in the game I have ever seen. This is a crossover game that's an RPG that has so many different versions of the same character. If the game wanted to be based, we could get all the different versions of Kingdom Hearts Mickey and Kingdom Hearts Sora as playable characters. Just allow me to put them in my party and I will have a hard time playing anyone else. I mean, Kingdom Hearts did do a crossover with Final Fantasy Brave Exvius and had Sora and Riku appear as playable characters. So I'm just hoping they could do the same and not leave Sora out of this big Disney event. I'm having a lot of fun with this game, definitely a lot more than I originally thought. But of course, let me know what you guys think. Have you started playing Disney's Pixel RPG? What do you think of the game? Do you have any tips or tricks to share about it? I'm still new and I still have a lot to learn about these games' mechanics. And if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna stop with this video and jump right back on. Thank you all so much for watching. Please be sure to comment, like, subscribe, and stay awesome.